buckle up. It's gonna get kind of rough.
Explicit warning. All right. Tonight we're talking about the Storyville Slayer. We will touch on Storyville itself. If anybody doesn't know, it was a piece of area in New Orleans, but we'll get to that. So join us as Gage presents the Storyville Slayer. Go ahead, Gage. Floor's yours, bud.
All right. So, how many of y'all have ever heard of the Storyville Slayer before?
Never.
I've only heard of it one time. The Storyville Slayer. Nothing else.
Not about his MO, nothing about what he did?
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
I would say you guys are in for a treat, but buckle up. It's going to get kind of rough.
Explicit warning.
This is
As I would expect.
This is definitely going to be explicit. So
Sensational.
I'll try to keep it as YouTube friendly as possible, but viewer discretion is advised.
Sensational, Gage. Floor's yours.
All right. So, the Storyville Slayer, also known as the New Orleans serial killer, is an unidentified serial killer that terrorized New Orleans from 1991 to 1996, leaving anywhere from 12 to 27 victims in his wake. The victims consisted of prostitutes, black women, transgender women, and all ranged in age from 17 to 42.
So essentially the range that we were born.
Yeah.
That. All right.
Wow.
This literally happened the year I was born.
Yeah, I was born in 96. So
There you go.
The first one happened in 1960.
61, yes.
12 to 27.
Well,
Such a
20
big gap.
good
Mhm.
lord. Yeah.
Because you'll see later, but with how widespread the murders were and just the correlation between them, they assumed that it was the Slayer, but they could never pinpoint it to that person.
Gotcha.
Good lord.
So I know you might be asking yourselves, why Storyville? What is Storyville? So originally,
let me tell you a story.
yep. Let me tell you a
Storyville.
Story.
How about Storyville? Originally just called the District, Storyville was the red light district in New Orleans that operated from 1897 to 1917. Sitting just north of the French Quarter, it covered roughly 20 blocks and was bordered by Iberville, Basin, St. Louis, and North Robertson streets. The name Storyville came from got its name from Sidney Story, an alderman who drafted and proposed legislation to control prostitution within the city.
Wow.
Can't have that.
No, we can't be having that.
No. Yeah, so basically he just made it to where prostitution was confined to this one area.
Yeah.
Still illegal, but highly regulated.
Yeah, similar to the red light district,
Yeah.
Amsterdam,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Really?
What Storyville? No,
Oh yeah, man.
no.
Yeah. As
So-
you were.
So a fun fact about Storyville, while not the actual birthplace of jazz, jazz was a very big fixture in Storyville because of the acts of the time, like Louis Armstrong and Jelly Roll Martin and all of them, just being such a big presence in all the saloons and music halls that accompanied the brothels there.
Mm-hmm.
Was this going along like with the Axeman or?
Yeah,
Actually.
it was
Yeah.
around the time of the Axeman, yeah. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Storyville was shut down under pressure from the U.S. government, specifically Secretary of Defense at the time, Newton Baker. He argued that the brothels would pose a threat to the health and morals of the U.S. Navymen stationed close by. Not long after, most of the properties were demolished to make way for the Iberville housing projects.
Literally like their last stop before they took off, went for World War I, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. New Orleans. Oh yeah.
Have a party before you leave.
Oh,
Oh,
big party, boy.
oh yeah.
And
Go
I went-
fuck party, leave with something.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I recently went to the Storyville Museum in New Orleans, and they have big pamphlets that were saying, oh, well, is this woman you're meeting a friend or foe? Don't catch nothing, bring it home, all that good stuff. He was just, you know, so so adamant about not having the sailors and everybody, go there and be blindsided and
Yeah.
not prepared for war.
Yeah, essentially the people at the time that you would expect, to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's cover the victims. So on July 22nd, 1991, a young prostitute known only as Brenda filed a police report alleging that she was strangled and left in the streets half naked by a man described as a muscular, well-dressed, middle-aged black man that drove a dark-colored Buick Regal or a Chevy Monte Carlo. Unfortunately, though, the NOPD failed to follow through on the report and brushed it off as just another occurrence, considering her lifestyle and profession. It's widely considered that she was the first victim and the only survivor of the Storyville Slayer.
It's about to ask if there were any other survivors.
No, unfortunately, everybody else
Good
associated
Lord.
is dead.
Yeah.
So, the next victim would be a 17-year-old girl named Daniel Britton. On August 4th, her body was found in a ditch, beaten and strangled, and covered with garbage not far from where Brenda was dumped in Algiers. Shortly before her body was found, witnesses say she was seen at a bar with an unknown man. Despite this, nothing suggests that she was involved in any kind of prostitution. However, she did drop out of school not long before her body was discovered.
Was the description of the man she was with similar to the first?
Coming from the
Or they
people
don't know.
who saw.
They never said.
I never
No.
said. Interesting.
Like I said,
Goodness.
like I said, at this time,
Yeah.
all the reports are just kind of brushed off because they assume, oh, prostitute. Nah, we're not going to care
High,
about you.
exactly. I was about to say that. Like a high risk lifestyle.
Oh yeah. Then on September 3rd, the third victim would be found roughly around the same area. Tyra Tossam was a 21-year-old mom of three and had a criminal record of drug possession. Again, impoverished
Once
girl.
again. Yep.
Don't care.
Good Lord.
And
It's
then
almost like they chose.
They
Because I know,
specifically-
I know the Bayou Stranglers relatively to that too. That's like they purposely chose that type of victim because they knew
yeah,
not much attention would be drawn.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Then, just 19 days later, the body of 28-year-old Charlene Price was found about a mile from where Daniel Britton was found. She laid in a New Orleans park, beaten and strangled to death, and while she didn't have any ties to prostitution, she was a known drug abuser.
Another
There it
one.
is.
Another one.
God.
You'll see this as a reoccurring theme, so I know
Yep.
this is going to sound repetitive, but just bear with me.
Do we have to make another one button? Just another one. Another one.
Do you want to make
Like,
one real quick? I will make one real quick.
No.
This isn't a joke.
No, it's not. This is just wild.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
this is what 4 victims at
So
this
far,
point.
this is 2 murder victims. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 murder victims.
One
and
survivor.
1 survivor.
So that's 3 already.
3
That
so
they're
far.
finding them with similar causes of death and just not batting an eye.
No.
What was the time span on these?
So
Like a month?
About a
Yeah.
month. Yeah.
So yeah, Brenda, her assault occurred in July. Then in August was Daniel Britton. September 3rd was Tyra.
So 3 months, one a month.
Yeah.
Pretty
so
much.
far. Yeah. God. Yeah.
So, and then after a little bit, on November 21st, Regina Oko would be found dead, also strangled, and the autopsy performed on her discovered cocaine in her system. The 37-year-old mom of 3 had also a prior arrest for prostitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very carefully chosen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very much a pattern. Then on December 14th, skeletal remains were found in a ditch along a highway near the location where Daniel Britton was dumped. Believed to belong to a black girl, approximately 20 years old, but never fully identified. She would just be referred to as Jane Doe 1. So, Not all of them can be
Jane Doe number 1.
Jane Doe number 1.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of messed up.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if they didn't have a name, they couldn't. But still,
Yeah.
Now, what was particularly crazy about her is she had a very pronounced outward jaw, like her teeth were protruding outwards. So it's not like, oh, well, you can probably identify her if somebody around the area knew of her.
Yeah.
But even then, nobody came forward to identify her.
wow.
Didn't check. Well, probably didn't have dental records for.
Yeah. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, 91, 96, they would have dental records, but they
Yeah.
probably didn't, you know.
especially like impoverished, they don't. It's sad to say they probably don't
Nolan's
go to the-
finest.
Yeah.
So then later on January 4th of 1992, the bodies continued to pile up as Lydia Madison would be found dead under an overpass. The 29-year-old had prior offenses of prostitution and drug possession and also strangled to death.
And they
After
were not catching on at this point, or they just didn't care.
I think at this point they just didn't care. They just assumed like, okay, well, it's
Bruh.
dead prostitute, just sweep it under the rug. So,
Unreal.
yeah.
All right.
After a short cooling off period, the Slayer would strike again, but this time with a twist. Guys, get ready for this one. On June 2nd, the body of 25-year-old George Williams would be found not in or around Old Storyville, but in the LaBranche wetlands in St. Charles Parish. Again, like the other victims, the cause of death was strangulation, but unlike the others, George was a transgender, and by all accounts looked like a woman. He also had prior arrests for drug possession and robbery, and also worked as an exotic dancer at a nightclub in New Orleans.
So the thing that kind of gets me about this, the victims so far, like they all have these somewhat drug related offenses. So it seems like it would be somebody who has access to that,
Yeah.
you know, that,
Going to one random dealer and just like
yeah.
picking out names.
I mean, like another drug user, a drug dealer, or someone who works in law enforcement, or a rehab center, or something like that's 4 solids right there.
They were
you know.
involved in the scene somehow.
Yeah,
Putting
somehow.
themselves in that scene somehow.
Or maybe working at a club,
Could
So-
be.
you know, but
Alec, you're not too far off with one of those.
Harmon,
Our very own Sherlock Holmes over here.
Sweet Maria.
So, shortly after, on July 25th, Noah Filson's body was be found in a canal just off of I-55. Just like George Williams, Noah was also transgender and worked at a local strip club under the name Brenda Bewitch.
Oh. Brenda made another appearance.
Mm-hmm.
What a name.
So, later on September 21st, the remains of 29-year-old Regita Martin would be found in a canal in Booty, just outside of New Orleans. The mother of 3 had prior arrests for prostitution and drug possession, with her cause of death being determined as a drug overdose.
So this one was a victim of his?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it did a little bit of hiding as far as like classifying the cause of death as a drug overdose, but it was actually something else. I mean,
Yeah.
You'll see later. That's kind of covered under.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's starting to sound similar to Sean Vincent Gillis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the strangulations, with the druggers,
Mhm.
as Jacob had called them, druggers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then on February 20th of 1993, skeletal remains belonging to 30-year-old Cheryl Lewis were found in a canal in Hawnville. She was also known as a prostitute with prior arrest and had 4 children. Her autopsy would show that she was strangled and had cocaine in her system. While investigating the case, police would learn her mom had reported her missing on February 2nd, the day that she was said to have gotten in a vehicle with an unknown white man. So you remember from Brenda, she
Yeah.
said it was a black man,
Yes.
well dressed, muscular black man. But now it's changing to where Cheryl's mom is saying that she got into the car with a white man.
Similar to the Axeman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Multiple people.
Multiple people.
Multiple people now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what if like the police department was trying to get rid of this problem and killing them?
That's what it kind of seems like.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bodies at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think something would be going on, but
Seems pretty convenient.
yeah.
Very.
You know.
Some would say coincidental,
Exactly. As you were.
as I am.
As you are.
As you,
As you shall be, Gage.
The very next day, on February 21st, police would find the body of 42 Dolores Mack, close to where Cheryl was found. She too had been strangled, and while she didn't have a known past of drugs, cocaine was found in her system. Police determined she had only been dumped in the canal 12 hours prior to her being found.
Wow.
So it seems to be.
it's kind of like the American Psycho thing, where
Yeah,
he's just
four.
putting
Yeah,
drugs into a
because
drink,
you gotta think.
getting them
that-
to drink it, it gets them all loopy, then he can do whatever he wants.
Right. But
Yeah,
also,
it could be.
to think about it, the day before, Cheryl Lewis was found,
Huh?
and then Dolores was found the very next day, with her body only being dumped for 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You would think at this point the Slayer would think, okay, let me back off of this, but no, he's pushing forward. He's actually taunting the police.
I
At
mean,
this
yeah,
point.
they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he continue
So-
to make it worse?
We have, what is it, 5 now that had coke? 4 or 5?
I
roughly.
believe it was 4 that had drugs in their
Okay,
system. Yeah.
so 4 that had drugs in their system. Booga Sugar is a rich man's partake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is somebody with money, somebody that has access to the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on. Deliberating.
Yes.
Liberating. So, after almost a full year of seemingly nothing, 4 different bodies would be found within 2 weeks of each other. Yeah. So, between February 5th and the 15th of 1994, and spread all around St. John the Baptist Parish. The first was labeled as Jane Doe number 2, a 25 to 35-year-old woman that was strangled. Next was a 15 to 17-year-old girl, also strangled, as labeled as Jane Doe number 3. Then, the body of 25-year-old Stephanie Murray is found in a pond near the Bonacary Spillway. And then lastly, more skeletal remains and labeled as Jane Doe number 4.
Jesus.
So,
Not a single name was pulled.
not a single name, because you got to think. I think I left this out, but a lot of these bodies were being found in canals and just with being dumped in the canals and the waterways. Decomposition speeds
Yeah.
up so fast.
Yeah,
so
with the crabs, the catfish, all of that.
all the
and then
wildlife.
They weren't
Yeah.
able to identify them.
And I
Mhm.
mean, he could have taken them out upriver and then flowing down the canal, so they can't really pinpoint where it actually happened. Right?
Mhm.
And just thinking of the time period, DNA evidence is still in its very, very early forms. They don't have like a huge database like they have now, where
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
take just a small sample of your blood and whatever and figure out who you are.
Mhm.
Back then, there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
So identifying these bodies was even more like rough to do. Later on April 2nd, 2 more skeletal remains, one male and one female, were found in an unspecified canal. They would be labeled as Jane Doe number 5 and John Doe number 1.
Skeletal remains.
Just skeletal remains at
So
this
they've been
point.
dead for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the only way that they're figuring out whether they're male or female is the hip bone, like the actual hip bone and the orbital sockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I wonder if like he killed them or whatever killed them early, like prior to those.
Kept their bodies, and
Yeah.
it's possible.
It is
Could
possible.
be.
On July 3rd, 32-year-old Michelle Foster's body was found after being reported missing just days before in New Orleans. So bodies are, again, quickly piling up. Just,
Well, we're over 10 by now.
oh yeah. Later, on October 19th, the skeletal remains belonging to 28-year-old Stephanie Brown were found in a wooded area in Bridge City. So, starting to spread out the burial places of these people, because one in Booty, one in Hawnville, out in Bridge City, some out in St. John the Baptist.
Yeah.
So,
Algiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then between January 22nd and the 25th of 1995, 3 more bodies were found. First was Wanda Ford, who was recovered from a swamp along I-55. The 29-year-old mom had 3 priors for theft and had abused drugs. Police then found 39-year-old Sandra Warner, presumably not far from where Wanda Ford was dumped. And then lastly, Henry Calville's remains were found after he had gone missing months prior from New Orleans, all in the same area.
No affiliation with Henry Cavill, Superman,
Wanted to ask that. Yeah, The Witcher.
and The Witcher.
No, I'm pretty sure if they were related, this would have ended right then and there.
Good lord.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that says something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all these people have questionable past or
Yeah.
questionable things they doing currently, but we at like 15 people right now.
Yeah, you would think
At some point,
something would be taking place.
I gotta look into it.
Yeah,
At least something.
At least a little. At least
Yeah.
open the
yeah, a
investigation.
little task force or something like
Yeah.
that. You know,
Donut Squad.
the don't.
The hot dog squad.
The hot dog squad. Well, we'll get to it later, but you'll see it's much too little, much too late just
Yeah.
to get justice for these
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you're talking about we're at 4 years now.
Mhm.
You just said 95, so we're at 4 years.
Mhm.
That all of these bodies, similar past,
Mhm.
Similar ways of being taken out,
Mhm.
as you were, Gage.
So the next victim would be found on March 24th in Tangipahoa Parish, about 30 minutes away from New Orleans. She would later be identified as Linda Benedetto. No cause of death was released, but we
Really?
assume she was strangled or OD'd.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to the other ones. So you would figure after all these victims being put on the back burner from lack of evidence or lack of conviction to actually solve these murders from local police, something had to give, and it did. On April 30th, almost 4 years after the attack on Brenda, the Storyville Slayer would get sloppy after dumping the body of 30-year-old Karen Ivester. 2 local fishermen had found her body and reported it to local authorities, who then found a footprint of a woman's shoe along with a wad of chewing tobacco.
Uh-oh.
Police also determined that she had only been dead for 12 hours because of how rigor mortis had taken over her body, and a later autopsy found hand marks on her neck from the strangulation. So they could actually see the brush burns from a hand choking her. Not 3 hours later, another body had been found about a mile away from Karen Ivester. Later identified as 28-year-old Sharon Robinson, she would be found fully clothed with her Harris Casino uniform. This is the contrast from how the other ones were found because everybody was either partially naked or fully naked, but she was the only one that was still fully clothed. Her death was labeled as a drowning, but what's curious about her is that her shoes match the shoe prints found near Karen Iverster's body, which means that Sharon was alive and was aware of Karen's death. What's even more curious about that is later on, through investigation, police would show that Karen and Sharon were actually good friends.
Maybe he had both of them at the same place together. Like he killed one with having her present and then he killed her. Or greater scheme. Maybe it was her.
Maybe.
she saw her body and
Could be that too.
worked together, possibly. You know.
Maybe.
What about the chewing tobacco? Did they investigate that?
So eventually they would, but like I said, DNA being in its infancy.
Yeah. Probably couldn't do much with it.
No.
Yeah. They probably didn't know if it was Redman, Levi Garrett, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Some good red man.
So, after finally getting some concrete evidence to latch onto, NOPD finally formed a task force to investigate all these murders, and the hunt for the Storyville Slayer would officially begin. However, just 6 days after the official announcement of the task force, the Slayer would strike again with the discovery of the body of 39-year-old Sandra Williams. She would be found along a boulevard in New Orleans, fitting the pattern of the prior victims by being strangled to death.
So we'll put her roughly at 17.
Yeah.
Over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now they take action.
Now
Yeah.
they start to do something.
Incredible.
Only took 75 bodies to pile up to be like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
we should investigate this.
And like I said, the New Orleans police at this point, just either through incompetence or just laziness or just
Yeah.
lack of manpower, possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, and lastly, the final victim associated with the Storyville Slayer would be 39-year-old Lola Porter. Her body wouldn't be found until April 8th of 1996, even though she had been reported missing back in 1992 by her friends, who had also seen also said that she was living with a white male who had vanished shortly after her disappearance. So again, a report of her with a white man who
Mm-hmm.
disappeared after, but no names, nobody came forward to say who it was.
Any more descriptions? Like any more like detailed descriptions of this man? Like beard, hair, no hair, long hair?
No.
No, just
Or-
white man.
Just white man, very vague.
Bro.
Yeah, that narrows it down.
So now the big question is, after we've met the victims, the last question we have is, who done it? Well, remember at the beginning,
Isn't that the $1 million question?
it is the $1 million question. Well, at the beginning of the story, when I told you that Storyville Slayer was identified, well, that's mostly true, because through the investigation, police found not one but two possible suspects.
Mm.
So, the first man that they pointed to for the murders was a man called Victor Gant. Born in 1962, Gant grew up in Algiers, not far from where the murders took place. In his younger years, he was a boxer and a weightlifter, so he stayed physically fit, kind of matching Brenda's description of a fit, muscular
Yeah.
black man. Then, in February of 1980, he became a cop for the NOPD
Uh-oh.
Hey.
There it is.
and
There it is.
was assigned to the red light districts, where he would become well acquainted with the pimps and prostitutes of the area. So there's your association.
Cleaning
Yep.
up the streets.
Mm-hmm.
NOPD, hire me.
So while working in this area, it was believed that Gant became corrupt and was accused of running racketeering operations against the local criminals. When the task force was formed by NOPD in conjecture with local FBI office and St. John the Baptist Police, then Chief Richard Pennington would announce that Gant was their prime suspect, but only for the murders of Sharon Robinson and Karen Ivester. So why just these two? Investigations concluded that Gant and Robinson were in an intimate relationship and lived together. While they were in an intimate relationship, not everything was kosher in the relationship. In December of 1994, Robinson would file complaints against Gant, alleging domestic abuse where she was punched and her nose subsequently broken, which was corroborated by her children who were present at the time, as well as the ER nurse that tended to her, who went on record that the injuries sustained were from a beating. Of course, Gant would deny these allegations and counter that Robinson had been pushed and hit her face on a chair. So in early 1995, disciplinary hearings would take place against Gant, but a problem arose where the key witness, Sharon Robinson, would be found dead along with her friend Karen Ivester. It was believed but not proven that the women were killed to prevent them from testifying against Gant. To prove his guilt, though, Gant was ordered to produce a saliva sample to be compared against the wad of chewing tobacco found at the crime scene. Unfortunately, results came back inconclusive and charges were eventually dropped against Gant.
So they found another
God
one?
darn it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one with Dip?
No, it was the same one from previous, I think. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was only with Sharon Robinson's body that they found that wad of spit. So they say, well, if you're the closest to her, it has to be you. So they matched saliva samples, came back inconclusive, and they said, all right, well, I guess you're free to go. So,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Dude.
So even though he was cleared of all charges, he was.
Watch.
Oh, he's watching Wazowski.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
Watching.
So, even though all charges were dropped, Gant would be relieved of duty in August of 1996 from the NOPD. Gant would file an appeal in 1997 and later be granted only a 30-day suspension in 1999, which saw him receive back pay for all the time lost and benefits restored.
Dang.
I think it came up to $109,000 that
Good
the
Lord.
New Orleans had to pay him back.
Jeez.
Dude, that's hefty.
Mm-hmm.
Even that not that long ago, that was still a lot of money. Probably. I'd like to know what that is.
I mean, you look
about
at like
160, 170? Maybe
give
more
or
than that.
take. Yeah. Give or take.
Still a little life
It's-
changing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lump sum, you
A
know,
lump
without
sum.
a doubt.
Oh, yeah. So, however, Gant wouldn't be allowed to return to law enforcement and instead moved to Atlanta, where he's supposedly still living to this day, and as confirmed by Major C.J. Dester of the St. John the Baptist Sheriff's Office, is still a suspect in all the murders.
I don't doubt
Wow.
that. It's just the way that they're finding these bodies and stuff like that. I don't know how familiar you are with the Atlanta child killer. Yeah.
Is that what they was portraying in Mind
Yeah.
Hunter season 2?
in Mind
Yes.
Hunter, dude, you
Yes.
just like countless boys
Yeah.
being found, but they can't pin a suspect. You know, like they just all over the place. The FBI got involved, you know, and it was just, it's a lot. But
Sounds like similar to kind of John Wayne Gacy-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. But yeah, we could cover that in another episode because that is a long, very,
Yeah.
very long.
So, another possible coincidence tying Gant to the murders is the fact that he matched the description of Brenda, like I said earlier. Brenda had reportedly ran into her attacker at a supermarket in Algiers. When it became apparent that he had been recognized, the man fled and was never caught. Many people speculate that this might have been Gant, but it was never proven. So with
So
Brenda,
if the lady knows what he looks like, why didn't she like say a description?
especially with
You would
as,
think.
as such a high profile as Gant was, like former cop of the NOPD,
Right.
she would have
Fear of retaliation from NOPD and, you know, being essentially harassed by the police department. I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with her background as a prostitute.
Yeah, I could see it.
So the other suspect, though, and I'm kind of leaning towards more of this guy who did it. The next suspect would be an Ohio native known as Russell Elwood. Born in 1951 in Massillon, Ohio, Elwood would move to New Orleans in 1968 after graduating high school. However, since coming to the Big Easy, drug abuse got the best of him, and he was never able to stay out of jail, much less hold down a stable job or have any kind of meaningful relationships. He would be characterized as erratic and always obsessed with get-rich-quick schemes that never took off. but would usually stick to photography and cab driving.
Hmm.
So Elwood's connection to the murders came out one night. Came one night when he didn't. So
Came out one night when he didn't.
came out one night when he didn't.
Hmm.
So while out one night, 2 off-duty St. Charles police parish officers found Elwood masturbating in his cab near the location where Cheryl Lewis and Dolores Mack were discovered.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that would point towards gratification for. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, your wheels are turning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire time I was researching this, I was thinking, okay, return to the scene of the crime, gratification
Yeah.
for his crimes, and oh yeah, I got away with it.
Yep. Getting off on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it kind of ties together, but then again, like, okay, the skeletal remains.
Mhm.
If he would have had it in the back of his taxi cab, if it is like an old taxi cab, what a Ford,
Like a Crown Vic.
Crown Vic. There we go.
No, you could fit.
I mean, yeah, you could fit a few, but then the smell and stuff like that, unless he was masking
one
the
of y'all
smell,
other
or
stories had the
you
same
know.
thing that he was just riding around.
Yeah,
That
with
was
Sean
Sean.
Vincent
Vincent
Gillis. Yeah,
Gillis,
Sean Vincent
but,
Gillis.
it's God, that's a weird
Awesome.
one, man. Yeah, because
Must have hid them somewhere.
yeah, it would make sense. I mean, given his past and stuff like that, but that's profiling him. But given the other guy, he has the knowledge. Continue, Gage.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
no, it's
Wheels are
fine.
turning, bro.
It is possible that
Yeah.
when these murders took place, just speculating here, could have been tarp in the trunk, kill the victim, throw them back there, rush off to dump the body. Less of a chance of it, stinking up his cab. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean, not wrong. You could put some lye and stuff like that, like a lot of convicted killers do.
mhm.
Good lord,
To mask the scent.
to preserve the body,
preserve the
for
body.
a little bit and mask the scent. But
And it wouldn't have been suspicious him being in those areas, being
Yeah.
a cab driver.
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Mm-hmm. People getting in the car a lot.
yeah, people get in and out. He's obviously going to be transporting prostitutes back and forth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
Oh yeah. So
Hmm.
after being ordered out of the car, Elwood would try to convince the officers that he was just changing his oil and working on his brakes, despite not having any of the proper tools or even a flashlight since it was the middle of the night. So he was just saying, "Oh yeah, officer, I'm just working on my car, but no oil, no oil pan, no brakes, no tools."
yeah.
Hmm.
He had like a Makita drill and a
I
sledgehammer.
don't think
Yeah.
that was a thing.
Makita.
And Itachi.
Yeah,
He had one of the plug-in ones. Like, I just plugged that in. Where you ran a freaking 500-foot extension cord.
We don't see an
The
outlet
building,
in
you're
here,
in the-
sir.
yeah. We don't see any outlet around here.
What are you talking about?
So
Zero ugga-duggas.
zero good. So he was, of course, taken in for public indecency and served his time. Elwood seemed to have steered clear of the police, at least for a little while. But on July 23rd, 1997, the task force would pin him as another suspect in the murders and went to question him. He was found in Sebring, Florida, where he was taking care of his elderly father. During a 3-day interrogation, he admitted to being involved with black prostitutes throughout his life and had also taken illicit drugs such as cocaine, LSD, and heroin.
Blended in with the scene.
Yep, very much a product of his environment.
Yep.
Because, I mean, you're talking late 80s, early 90s. I mean, coke's still on the scene. The 80s was the crack epidemic. But that was up north, and then it came down south. But good lord. Okay.
Did he dip?
Yeah.
but did he do
Um,
it?
Did he dip?
No pouches of
if he-
Levi Garrett.
No records of him dipping.
Check that man's gums.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Everything's receded.
I'm sure the drugs did that.
Oh,
Long before
yeah.
the
Good point.
typical would.
Good
I
point.
mean, you're not wrong.
So he would then, wait, hold on. Yep. Although all these statements were incriminating, police found no cause to hold him and was then released. It was only when he was busted just a couple days later from buying cocaine from an undercover cop back in Florida.
There
He
he
would-
goes.
Yep.
You know, legally, you have to tell me if you're a cop, right? yeah, sure.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not a cop. Oh, okay.
Oh, sick. Here you
Sick. All right. Get on the ground.
Yeah.
So he would then be ordered to serve 85 days in jail with 3 years of probation tacked on. It was while he was in jail, however, that he'd make the fatal flaw of bragging about his crimes. An inmate named Stan Hill went to local prosecutors and told them that Elwood had described in detail how he picked up the victims, took them to different areas around the city with the promise of drugs, strangled them, and dumped their bodies.
Bing, 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 bing. We have a winner.
Yep.
Another thing, did like the murder stop whenever he was in jail?
That
Not
would also be a.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in there like a.
Yeah, because when
Amount of
was he
time.
brought to jail?
So in July of 23rd, 1997. So this is when they
Okay, so
tacked him
that's
on.
after the last quote unquote murder.
Almost.
Yeah.
There were one or two more after this.
All right.
Is he out of jail?
Yeah. So
Yeah, 85 days.
Unfortunately, though, nothing would be done until after Elwood was released and had returned to Canton, Ohio, to live with his brother, who offered him a high-paying job. What that was, it's never really explained. The task force would re-interview him, and while he initially denied all the claims, an audio recording was played for him, proving that he had indeed talked about the murders. Elwood would eventually confess to saying those things, but blamed a mental illness that caused him to brag about the murders.
Dude, something that I learned from watching a lot of like documentaries and stuff like that. Whenever it's an unsolved murder and you have like lowest man on the totem pole in prison,
Mhm.
they'll try to get, credit and stuff like that to make them seem
Oh,
you know,
Important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
So he would then argue that he be allowed to return to New Orleans to see his attorney and receive proper treatment for his mental illness. He was, of course, denied and later confessed to the murders of Cheryl Lewis and Dolores Mack. Although the confession wasn't recorded, and Elwood would later deny confessing.
What the fuck?
Rookie
Yeah.
mistake.
It's just up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
As if we need to make this man out to be worse than he is. In October of 97, a former cellmate of Elwood from a Florida jail told Jefferson and St. Charles Parish Police that he was told by Elwood that he liked having sex with men and women, as well as getting his partners high to induce a catatonic state so he can have his way with them.
Bro.
What on earth?
There's
Dahmer.
What was his drug of
That's
choice?
Dahmer.
cocaine.
Cocaine.
Now there is a medical term for this. I did not know until researching this. It's called a somnophiliac.
Somnophiliac.
Mhm.
Yeah. To where they're either unconscious or close to an unconscious state.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Sick.
with this detail
Nice.
seemingly tying him back to the Storyville murders, Elwood would again crawfish his way back out, claiming he made up those stories to appear tough. There you go.
Yeah, why don't we just believe him?
I figure at this point you just have to. You
Yeah.
can't believe everything he says, and it's like, oh, you did the murders? Okay, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Mm.
Yeah. Automatically to jail.
You want to what?
Don't
You're going to
pass go.
keep confessing to this? Okay. Death row. Yeah. Executions in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't do it now? Oh, you're mentally ill now? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
How convenient. Yeah.
It takes a month to get back from the governor, and yeah, sorry, we already got you scheduled for a week.
God, dude.
So, in November, though, Elwood had filed a report claiming that he had been assaulted outside of a fast food restaurant and wasn't able to make his probation appointment. But police didn't buy it, and he was subsequently arrested again. After being released from that charge in December, he decides to take a trip down to New Orleans, where he is again quickly arrested for speeding and other traffic violations. NOPD was able to hold him for 6 months for the misdemeanors, but still couldn't pull together the evidence to convict him for the murders, and was then released with a court order to appear back. And of course, he didn't show and is arrested again and spends an additional 120 days in jail for contempt of court.
But-
So they have this man pretty much dead to rights. They
Yeah.
have all this opportunity to pin these murders on him with all this, whatever evidence they have, and they still can't do it.
Jesus Christ. And 120 days. I mean, you got some time here.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the other 85 that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he was chewing cherry dip and, using mouthwash. Anyways, Gage,
Yes,
as you were,
as I am.
as you shall.
During his time in jail, police pressed him for a confession, but refused to do so on recording, even after all the evidence was levied against him. There was an additional charge that police tried to pin on Elwood when a former girlfriend had come forward saying that she had witnessed him kill a woman and burn her body in months. But without proper evidence and no obvious ties to the other murders, the allegations were dismissed.
She didn't come out with this when it happened. She decided to wait.
Just waited.
Why?
To get back at him.
Exactly.
Oh, he was a shitty boyfriend. Let me just add to his sentence. I'm like, no.
Yeah. That just sounds like old girl with the axe man.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, "Oh yeah, no, he was a German spy. He's the one that actually did the killings. Oh, he killed me. No,
He killed me.
He killed
Me? Okay,
I'm
ma'am.
deceased. I
woke up
Why
dead
didn't you
because of
report
him.
this when you witnessed it?
when you were murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Why you didn't come talk?
Why you didn't
You
come
got
say
murdered
nothing in the first
because I was
place?
dead.
I was scared.
I mean, I could see it out.
I
of,
guess I can understand it as well, but still.
She goes, reports
Gosh.
him. He comes back and
her.
abuses her. Yeah,
Yeah. It is sad how
Good
that works
Lord.
sometimes, but
yeah.
you can't be afraid.
No.
I know it sucks and it's rough to do, but you just can't be afraid of
No.
these people.
No.
But finally, on March 4th, 1998, Elwood would be officially charged with the murders of Cheryl Lewis and Dolores Mack, and was moved from Jefferson Parish to St. Charles Parish. Elwood would file a appeal and be granted a new trial in front of a grand jury, who would subsequently uphold the conviction for the murders. Elwood would get some semblance of hope when it was discovered that officers closely related to the case had tampered with evidence, giving him the very likely possibility of getting out. So he was
Once again.
this close from getting out.
Bro.
But fortunately, level heads prevailed, and they saw that the evidence that was tampered with either was inconsequential or non-existent.
Yeah, so essentially common sense prevailed.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Finally, after however many victims and how
All of this.
All of the victims.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
So, however, on June 8th, 1998, Elwood would have his final time in court, this time in Lafayette, away from the media circus that had accumulated in New Orleans. Each murder was tried separately, where he was finally convicted of second-degree murder on June 10th, 1999. Even after all the evidence had been presented, with most of it being circumstantial, the jury eventually came to a verdict because Elwood's attitude, citing he was rude and nasty to them. So I guess it pays to be more cordial in court, especially if you have 12 people deciding your fate.
Yeah.
You want to try to be on your best behavior.
Yeah. You don't want to be a true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even took the stand in his trial, so that kind of seemed arrogant to the
Yeah.
jury. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you're trying so hard to, distance yourself from these murders and trying so hard to keep yourself innocent, probably did it.
Probably
yeah,
did.
like Ted Bundy defending himself.
Yeah, no sane person would take the stand because they know that's a death sentence.
Absolutely.
So, on August 17th, Elwood would be sentenced to life without parole and shipped off to Angola State Prison, where he would spend the rest of his days until his death in 2014. So,
Straight to Angola.
yep, straight to Angola.
Good Lord.
So, with all that being said, and even though justice would be served for some of the victims, the vast majority still go without definitive answers as to who or why. We can only guess that either Gant or Elwood had committed the other murders, but nothing concrete could ever be found to pin the murders on them. Or maybe there was one more person involved.
Yeah. Because, I mean, dude, that's only, what, 2 victims
Mhm.
that he was charged for?
Yeah.
And they had 27, you
Yeah.
said?
2 for Elwood and then 2 for Gant, but he got off on those.
It kind of makes you wonder that the first person, the police officer, got away with a couple of them. So the taxi driver guy was just like, oh, well, he's getting away with them, so I'll just do mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bring that up to discuss this. On August 13th of 97, I think it was, a person referred to only as Clay called into the Howard Stern show describing the murders of 12 people and indicated that he was a white resident of New Orleans. Of course, FBI took action and had seized all recordings and evidence, but found nothing of use.
Jesus Christ. Nothing of use?
Nothing of use. They had his voice, they had his cadence and everything, but still cannot
Pinpoint who it was. Yeah.
I'm kind of...
Nice. Toying with these people.
What if Gant called in? What if he called in and he was like, yeah, man, I'm a white guy, lives in New Orleans, and he knew of Elmwood?
No, because Gant
That would
was...
be wild.
It would, but Gant had such a, I guess, distinctive voice from this Clay person, so they would have said, okay, that's not him. And also, it couldn't have been Elwood because at this time, he was in jail, serving his 85 days.
Yeah.
So...
And
they would have recognized.
I think it would be very hard for somebody from Algiers to fake an Ohio accent, or any of us, anybody from Louisiana that just fake a...
Well, what's an Ohio accent?
I have no idea. That
I don't
literally
even know
the
Ohio.
north and northeast and stuff like that, they just have a normal
Like Boston?
accent, I guess. Yeah, besides Boston.
Suburban white man?
Yeah. For lack of a better term, yeah, I guess.
So, again, personally, I think this call was just faked to... for ratings and stuff like that.
Probably so. It could have been a member of the show itself.
Yeah, because they did accuse Howard of making this all hoax and just to boost ratings.
Wow.
But
possible.
That's possible.
But he fervently denied it. And
Well,
said,
I'm
no, this
sure
was
he
real."
will.
As you would.
Yeah.
But then again, Howard Stern has a litany of crazy shit happen on his show.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, then again, he doesn't have like the greatest track record or legitimate source of things, considering his guest and But anyways.
So, gentlemen, that's the Storyville Slayer.
Bro.
Sorry to be such a downer about this, but
No, it's
That's just how
I mean,
it
that's
is.
how it was.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all the stuff that they have on it, I mean, you can't just make up stuff about it. You know, I mean, you could, but then that would,
Do a disservice.
yeah, it would do a disservice to the victims. you
But it
know?
just goes to show you, like, if this was some people of, wealth or
yeah,
higher standing people, I would be curious to see what the outcome, how different the outcome would have been.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
lot of covering stuff up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good lord. Well, thank you, Gage.
Yeah. No problem.
You know, shit. That was a story
That was definitely a something.
of
That
the
was something.
Storyville Slayer.
And-
That was a
Am I-
story of a
Story of the Storyville Slayer.
In
Oh,
my
yeah.
34 years on this planet, that's definitely a something.
Good lord,
Hmm.
man.
34.
34.
Untold.
Well, thank y'all for joining us. You know?
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, without
y'all.
a doubt.